Mark Hammil, how could you?
I'm sorry.
So when I got out of the remake of Child's Play, I was absolutely raging. Now, a few hours later, I'm just annoyed and sad, and I just feel like this movie was nothing. This movie was nothing to get excited about. For me, personally, I can't see this Buddy doll catching on. One, he looks creepy as fuck, and you wouldn't want that shit walking around your house, talking to you. Two, he's inconvenient. Can you imagine going around someone's house? I'm just going to turn on Alexa. No, forget Alexa, I've got this. Just lugs out a gigantic doll. No, Alexa, I hate the bitch. I really don't like Alexa. But this is like the equivalent of saying, here's a doll of Alexa. You know, how much more of a bitch would she be then? And we never see the benefits of having Buddy, you know. Andy finds him annoying from the get-go. Another child who we see have Buddy just makes him do stupid things so he can laugh at it. What's the benefit of Buddy? We never see it. We see what he can do, but no one ever uses him for what he can do. You know, just we need to see the positives of Buddy. Here it's just annoying. You wouldn't be able to relax in your own home. Just be constantly like, shut the fuck up, Buddy. Piss off.
All right, Alexander. Yes, I am. Are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. How can you wank in that house? Could you put the video on, Alexander? Yes, master. Which video would you like to... No, just do it yourself. Alexander, could you dispense some tissues from the wall? Yes, master. Are you lonely? No, let's leave me alone. I'm coping, all right?
I feel like this remake stripped Child's Play of everything that we knew and loved about it. Now, that serial killer idea of the serial killer entering the body of a doll, the supernatural edge, was really a standout thing about the original. It was a great idea. Here it's just technology going crazy, technology going to take over, technology malfunctioning, which we've seen time and time again. All the people saying this is a fresh new take. We have seen this plot or a variation on it in 1,000 different movies, guys. 1,000 different movies have had an appliance or a robot or something going crazy against humanity. It's nothing new. You know, and I just felt like this Child's Play idea was something new. And now we just kind of stripped that away and just made it just a generic technology gone bad plot. So as soon as Andy gets the doll in this film, he knows there's something about it. He knows it's creepy. He's creeped out the second he gets the doll. But he keeps it for so long. He just keeps it. You know, and things obviously start to unfold in a terrifying way, and he still keeps it. Now, you can sort of understand why Andy in the original movie kept the doll, because he was a little child, he was corrupted, and that was one of the greatest things about that movie. It was a film about the corruption of innocence. He was a little child, of course he's not going to know what to do. He's going to be, you know, Chucky's going to control him and use mind control on him and, you know, influence his innocence. Whereas in this, having Andy 13 years old, you have a concept of right and wrong at that point. You know, you know when something needs to be dealt with. In this, Andy, you're just like, why are you keeping this doll when you know something's wrong? You're 13 years old. You know, you've got the abilities to sort of deal with this. You know, it's just several moments in this where I just thought like Andy could grab the doll, pull the batteries out, and send him halfway to Alaska, and you sorted it. You sorted. So Andy gets himself to a lot of shit in this film, which could have been avoided. It just, like, they should have come up with a better idea as to why Andy keeps the doll for all the shit, because he just keeps on keeping Chucky, where even though Chucky's destroying his life, he just puts him in the corner, and the next day he's like, oh, Chucky's done something else to my life. Just go in your corner, mate, get in there, go in your corner, stop messing up my life. You won't do it again, will you? No, you won't, because I've told you not to. Ha. Why I love Brad Douriff as Chucky is I feel like there was so much menace and charisma and grittiness to his voice acting, and I feel like Chucky went on kind of a journey where he started off as this innocent doll, and then he was just this menace, this terrifying, you know, beast, you know, almost. And when Chucky has those outbursts, they're really meaningful and they really catch you off guard, and they're just really memorable.
I said talk to me, damn it, or else I'm gonna throw you in the fire!
You stupid bitch, you filthy slut! Did you fuck with me?
And I feel like Chucky in this movie was not memorable. He was so generic. He was a generic killer doll. And Mark Hamill's performance was really generic. Chucky kind of stays the same. Like, he looks creepy as hell all along, which makes no sense, because why would someone buy this shit? He just looks like he's staring into your soul always. Why would he be designed like this? Whereas in the first one, Chucky looks all sweet and innocent, and then the horror comes out. Whereas in this, he looks creepy from the beginning. He looks scary from the beginning, and then he keeps his innocent doll voice all the way through, and there's no kind of journey into that monster coming out, and I miss that. I think Mark Hammil, look at his work on the Joker and other voice roles he's done, he's great at that kind of that maliciousness, that villain role. Whereas in this, he doesn't really come out of it. He keeps the same voice for the whole film, and there's no moments that you can really compare to Brad Dourif's Chucky. Brad Dourif's Chucky, from the get-go, as soon as he reveals himself, you're just hooked on his performance. Mark Hamill, you're not really hooked. He's just cringy. You look at him, he's just cringe. I guess you could call a doll creepy, but he's creepy in a generic sense. He just looks like a scary doll, but there's no personality to it. It's very generic, very mechanical, which is what they were going for, I guess. But I didn't like that kind of thing. I've seen it before. I've seen technology take over with these emotionless machines before. AI, Terminator 2, just so many movies, iRobot, just so many have this idea. This is not a new take on the genre. It's just taken away one of the things that made Child's Play original. Now, I'm going to say something about the horror in this film. Yes, I jumped. No, that doesn't mean the movie was scary. Now, my best friend who I saw it in the cinema with, he kind of took the look at me a bit, because he was like, well, you jumped, so the movie clearly scared you, you jumped. But here's my point, guys. That scene that I jumped at is the equivalent of someone coming behind you with a loud horn, like Stanley Ipkiss in The Mask, and blowing the horn. That's it. Nothing scary happened. It was a loud bang, like just anyone would jump at that. And that's what horror has come to. It's just bang, 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 bang. And that's what it is in this film, just a loud noise. That's what horror films are now. They're just bang, jumping into the camera. Bang, bang, bang. And it was the noise that made me jump. And I'm not ashamed of that. If someone came behind you and did this to you, you would jump. That's what it was, just a loud noise. And every time there was a jump scare, it was just a loud noise. Not what was happening on screen was scary. And I'm not ashamed of jumping. I'll tell you, the movie Signs, which I think is a very underrated movie, that scene where the alien walks past, that shit, I am proud. I jumped out of my skin. I want to jump in a horror movie. I jumped out of my skin watching that in the cinema. I absolutely shit myself. This, I jumped because it was a noise. It wasn't the horror that made me jump. It was just a noise. And if that makes me a pussy because I can't stand someone coming behind me and going, brah, then I must be a pussy, and I'll be a happy pussy, because guess what? Anyone would jump at a loud noise like The Mask. Child's Play didn't need to have jump scares like that, the original movie. When Chucky first reveals himself in that scene which I showed when he's shouting, there is a loud bang noise, like a loud, instrument noise, but it's not it's not really, really loud to the point of just blowing your head off, and the thing you're jumping at isn't the noise, it's Chucky, it's the idea, it's the atmosphere, it's what's happening, it's this monster being unleashed. Here, they use the noise to make you jump because they can't make you scared with anything on screen, and that's a lot of what happens in today's modern horror. In the Annabelle movies, even in fucking The Nun and all that shit, it's just, they can't make you actually scared, so they just play a loud noise. In this, you know exactly what's going to happen. That's one of the problems with remakes. You know exactly what's going to happen, and if you can't improve on it, don't do it. There's no point if you can't improve on it. And it's going to update it for new audiences. No, what you do is you get a DVD of Child's Play, you put it in, you go, this is an old movie, guys. It's alright to watch old movies. Don't need to remake them. Just watch this shit, because this is better than anything would be remade. Sit down and watch this shit, because this is the real Child's Play. I think Aubrey Plaza was a terrible performance as the mother. She was just emotionless. She showed nothing. She added nothing to the film. Whereas Catherine Hicks in the first Child's Play, you really felt her emotion, and you really went on the emotional journey with her. Here, the mother's kind of in the background. She never really has any interactions with Chucky. Whereas Catherine Hicks, she's fucking battling Chucky along with Andy. And I really like that. And, the policeman in the first film, he gets involved in it. Everyone gets involved. The policeman in this film barely gets involved. So it's really just Andy and Chucky. And you don't get to see much of the mum, and I think the mum was a very important character in the first Child's Play. Gabriel Bateman, I didn't like, guys. I thought he was some of his performance was just cringe. And I know that people are going to talk about Alex Minson in the first Child's Play. He was young, he didn't really act that well, but he had that vulnerability, he had that likability. He was a really innocent and charming, sweet young kid. You know, he wasn't the greatest actor in the world, but you really, really felt sorry for him. I remember growing up watching those Child's Play movies. I felt so sorry for Andy, because he's a little kid and his entire life has been destroyed by this doll. Whereas this little shit, he's just running around, pissing about with his mates. You know, now and again he decides to care about what Chucky's doing. And now and again he decides to break down in tears. He's just awkward. He's so awkward in the film, and he's just annoying. He's a bit bratty, I guess. And this is just a bunch of kids based on the Stranger Things kids trying to fight a killer doll. That's it. You know, it's not what we know of Chucky. You know, Chucky has this vibrant and, you know, massive kind of appeal. This long series of great comedy and horror and all this kind of stuff and personality. And you know what? I like all the sequels more than this, because they had personality, they had flair, they had humour, they had entertainment. This was boring as hell, guys, and cliche. Something you can say about the Child's Play movies, they took chances. You know, they weren't cliche. This was just evil technology, because we're living in the age of Alexa, and everyone hates Alexa deep down. Everyone, you know you do. But it just, Alexa getting out of control is what this is about. Just a stupid doll that no one would buy. Alexa the doll. I hope they do Alexa the doll, because that will kill the fucking business. But anyways, no one would buy it. It's just like nothing that I relate to. Nothing that kind of inspires me, you know. And one thing I do say is I like the kills in this, because they went over the top with them. But the kills kind of felt out of place with the rest of the movie. They really did. You know, they were trying to be like the Child's Play sequels, I think. But Chucky felt out of place, because he was doing... Where's he learnt the one-liners from? The reason why Charles D. Ray has all his one-liners is because he's a sadistic killer with a sick sense of humour. And he has great one-liners. Here, the one-liners are awkward as hell. Chucky is awkward as hell. Where did he learn the gags? You know, did someone put a humour chip in him? You're only doing it because we know Chucky for humour. And if we know Chucky for humour, just do the actual Chucky.
Don't fuck with the Chuck.
So I wasn't a fan of Child's Play 2019, guys. I really, really wasn't. You know, it's sat at 58% on Rotten Tomatoes. I personally think that will go down over time. I really do. But if you liked it, I'm really, really happy for you. You know, you should. You know, people should like these new remakes. I want someone to enjoy them, but I just didn't. They try and do their own thing, but I've seen it all before. You know, Child's Play, you know, certain magic to that first film, because it was original. You know, we'd seen supernatural possession movies, but we'd never ever seen a serial killer enter into the body of a little fucking doll. Find me a movie like that, whereas you can find 1,000 movies about technology taking over. You can. I'm just never a fan of that. You know, I'm a fan of Terminator 2 and movies like that, but films like AI and iRobot, I always found them really cringy and just never really appealed to me. So what do you guys think of Child's Play 2019? Did you like it? Did you hate it? I really want to know if you guys did like it, because you were not wrong. Mine is just an opinion. I just didn't enjoy it myself. So let me know why you like it in the comments down below. Let me know if you hate it in the comments down below. Let me know what you think of Mark Hammil as Chucky. I thought he was a big disappointment. I thought the script was probably one of the main things that let him down, because, you know, the voice wasn't terrible. It was just what he was saying, and there was no sort of inflection to his voice, and there was nothing that reminded me of Chucky, I guess. So, what do you guys think of Mark Hamill's Chucky? Did he pull it off? Thanks for watching, everyone. Once again, please subscribe to my channel. This is a place for geeky movie fans and film obsessives to discuss our movie obsession. So thanks for watching, everyone, and I will see you guys in the next video.